And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We just wrapped up with Lambert versus Dark in a beautiful TvZ. And now we are here with something that is not a mirror matchup. We're here with the Tuna versus the Dong. We're here with Ryung versus DRG Dong Ray Gu. Let's go, man. Let's go. Honestly, a matchup that I've been looking forward to. Ryung, of course, we are a little bit biased on this channel. We are big fans of the Tuna Terran himself. But likewise, DRG has been looking very impressive, especially in WTL. A couple of weeks ago in World Team League, he was popping off, doing so well for his team at the time. But currently, he is teamless, looking for support, looking for a team. If you're out there, consider maybe reaching out. It's possible if you're a team owner. KJ, that's Psystorm, Twisted Minds, and I'm sure many others. He is a very high value pickup, but here we go. We're getting into our second best of 3 of the night, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the Tuna Terran himself. We have the South Korean Terran player representing Onside Gaming. It is Ryung. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing himself, the Red Zerg. It is DRG. Here we go. Looking forward to Code S finals. Code A finals? Code A even a thing anymore? Aye. But yeah, for those who maybe weren't watching WTL over the weekend, DRG, he popped off. It was crazy what he was able to do, and of course Ryung as well. They were both really star players over the World Team League weekend, where DRG, he took down a CranKy Gaming, which was crazy, by the way. For him to do so was very impressive. Of course, looking good against both Dark and Hero. 2 players that are considered to be better than DRG. Likewise, Ryung popping off as well, looking good against Rainer, and dominant over Trigger over WTL. So yeah, Ryung, he's always someone to really respect. I'm always going to be remembering, I bring this up whenever I cast with Asher, whenever we cast Ryung, but when he took down Dark last year on Hardwire, Ryung was looking so damn good. And every now and then we see like these moments of brilliance from Ryung where he can go toe-to-toe with the best of them. We've seen that with his TVTs as well. I believe in WTL he took down Clem, if I'm not mistaken. I remember he took down a really high-profile Terran player. So yeah, Ryung can be a terrifying opponent as well, as long as as long as he's feeling good on the day. Peak Ryung is insane. It's just about consistency, really. Like, how often do we see that form, that type of Ryung? As the first Reaper does make its way across the map, is looking for a drone kill, but we do see DRG pulling back, saving the drone in the end. Not really losing too much at all, thankfully. And Ryung behind this is going for a very economic opener. Was a Rax expand into a 3rd TC. So again, very standard stuff here out of Ryung. Very macro-oriented. Likewise, DRG going for a hatch gas pool into a 3rd base, so nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy. Everything is looking pretty normal and standard between these 2 players so far. Beautiful. And they out the... Oh, let's go. I was about to bring up as well that Ryung is also one of those Terran players out there that is willing to play mech. I say one of, but everyone does it. Clem does it, Maru as well, Cure. They're all willing to whip out mech from time to time, and Ryung is no different. As we do have a second factory on the way. Helium production already commencing here. And we'll see if DRG can get a read of what's going on. We have seen some pretty potent Cyclone timings recently. Cure was able to bring down Solar, I think it was last week, with a very powerful Cyclone timing on this map. It was pretty brutal. It was crazy what Cure was able to pull off with it. Meanwhile, the Ling Scout dips in, looking at the vision of DRG. I mean, he has the Overlord, so he does see the additional factories ahead of time. Roach Warren is on the way, 2 more gases as well. DRG is getting ready for the Hellions, for the mech. Now, thankfully, this should be a form of battle mech or Ferrari mech, a more mobile kind of composition. But Ryung won't have the surprise factor, unfortunately. And yeah, there it is. There is Magfield accelerators on the way. This is looking like the same cyclone timing that, of course, Cure was able to pull off against Solar, but we'll see. See how Ryung is able to execute this in the end, and how DRG can differ in his defense. Initial Hellions are going to be moving out. Going to be threatening the bases, looking to poke in. Oh my god, and we're just diving all the way forward. But there are Lings in position. A lot of them are going to be going down, though. Great splash damage there from those Hellions, as Ryung does make his way into the mineral line. 6 drones, 7 workers already going to be going down. He can get another volley. Up! A massive volley goes off. 12 workers. Almost the mineral line. Does go down. DRG being punished for not having enough Lings there to stop that dive. Also for not having all of his queens in position as well. So a great start for Ryung. Because it's not over. We're not done yet. We have Cyclones on the way. Magfield accelerators has finished up as well. And in that next push, Ryung, he's going to have a much more devastating army that can go toe-to-toe with these queens. Roach Warren is done. No Roach speed yet, as the lair just now finishes. Now, the downside is because we lost all those Hellions, that delays this push. Like, if we had all those Hellions here to support the Cyclones, we could already be on the map, and we could already be looking to punish some of these queens. But alas, that isn't the case, so Ryung is stuck at home for the time being, still waiting to build up his army, and oh, my mistake! My apologies! He's very quickly transitioning into tanks. That means that he is going to have map control with his Cyclones and Hellions, but he's cutting Cyclone production really early on, and my apologies, as I just double-checked, he cancelled Magfield accelerators. So he is showing Battle Mech, but he's actually going into Turtle Mech. If you're out there, if you're in the chat, you can, maybe put the kettle on, start boiling some water, get something to drink, maybe start cooking. It's gonna be a long one, Poppy. It's gonna be a let's go. As I say that, DRG, he's going into a very fast infestation pit. Now the problem is, I think this is for investors, which would be good if he was up against Battlemech, if he was up against a more massive amount of Cyclones. From here, though, he can go into a fast hive, go into Vipers, which would be amazing against all of these tanks. Swarm hosts are on the way. Oh my god, okay. I'm loving it here from DRG. Specifically against a more tank-based composition, as the Blue Flame Hellions are getting in, and these drones are so low. Oh my god! As we do see a scan into the main, and are we going to see the... are we going to see the Swarm host? Up! Is it going to run out? It runs out! No! The scan runs down to the Swarm hosts do pop. Ryung not quite seeing the entire picture here of what his opponent is up to. We have Thors in production, which are amazing against mutas. They're okay against Locust Waves. They're okay. But what I was getting into is that Swarm hosts, they do amazingly against these more sieged armies, right? Against a more tank-heavy composition. Less so against Cyclones, as the Swarm hosts are finally being seen. They are being caught out. Oh, the Swarm hosts are barely going to be able to pull back. They do survive. The Locust Wave is coming in. And what are we going to get? We dive straight on top of the tanks. One tank is going to be going down, but just barely, only one. At the same time, a massive counterattack here. Hellions, they dive once again into the mineral line. 7 drones go down. Ryung doing an amazing job here at crippling the economy of DRG. Ryung up in workers. Just something you never want to see here in a Terran versus Zerg matchup. From the Zerg side, of course. Meanwhile, the Niduses are coming into play. Some of them are being spotted, but Ryung, he has an amazing economy, but he's lacking here in the army. He just doesn't really have a lot to support himself. Oh god, his army is just so slow, so immobile. Another Locust Wave is coming in. Tanks are going down left and right. Ryung, he's just having a really hard time keeping up. Now, sure, he has 4 bases. He has a good economy. But he needs time here to build up that tank count, build up the Hellions. I love this. He's he's going for a Thor drop to deal with these Nidus worms. A creative way to deal with it. It's going to work. Nidus is going to go down at the same time. Here comes Road Travager once again in towards the third base. Another tank falls. And here comes another massive Locust Wave. There is no answer for it. Tanks once again are going to be going down. Not just tanks, SCVs as well. 25 SCVs. And every single tank. Ryung has almost nothing left. He has 1 Thor in those Metamax, and that is it. And from here, Ryung still has a third base, but DRG is rotating around. He is re-maxed at this point. And he is rotating over towards that third. I'm loving the Hellbat drops. Coming back to circa 2015, Heart of the Swarm. Let's go. But alas, it's not enough to protect the base as it's going to go down. GG gets called and DRG takes game number 1. Correctly identifying the kind of mech that he was up against and able to hide those swarm hosts until the last minutes as well. Ryung going into those Thors, I'm pretty sure he was just blindly preparing for mutas and for Spire play. Again, he didn't see the infestation bit. He did not see the swarm host either until they were already on the map. Oh boy, and they got an insane amount of damage done. Was absolutely insane. And with that, we are going to be getting ready here for our next game. Oh boy, a rough start here for Ryung. Definitely a rough start. And we'll see if DRG can bring it back. Also, my mistake, I said that DRG, he brought down Dark and Hero in WTL. It was actually Oliveira in Hero. Just double checking, because I remember he took down someone, but had to double check who. And yeah, DRG clearly in form, looking powerful. It was one of the big, like, unfortunate tragedies of Abydos disbanding. Is that there are just so many powerful players in Korea that no longer have teams, and DRG is one of them. I would say the standout players are DRG, obviously Gumiho, Cure, and Nightmare as well. They're all deserving to be on the team. They're all top players, and oh boy, I mean, we see DRG showing that off here as well. I showed that off in WTL, but also here, I imagine in Masters Coliseum. Looking to have a deep run. And here we go. We are loading into game 2. It's going to be taking place on Gresswan. Overall, we did see our Terran player doing quite a lot of damage, especially economic damage with all these Hellion run-bys. It was amazing. It was beautiful. But it was the main army engagements that were lacking, and we'll see if he can make up for it here in game 2, especially on a much larger map, on a much more turtle map like Gressvan. Oh, we'll see if Ryung can go for a longer game. We'll see if DRG can stop it before it really gets out of control once again. Let's find out. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Gressvan, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Onside Gaming. Down in this series, but not out. It is Ryung. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing himself up in this series. It is DRG. Here we go. Shout out to Ryung also doing his best dark impression, growing out his own. To be fair, it's not quite a goatee, but he's got a little beard that's been growing. It feels so weird. I've been watching Ryung for years, for over 10 years at this point, and yeah, to see him with facial hair now. He's growing up. We're all getting old. Ay, ay, ay. We'll see if it can give if it can give him power, if it can give him strength. For now, standard openers, soon to be a Rax expand from Ryung. Likewise, DRG fanning out his overlords, looking for any kind of crazy proxies, and Ryung is willing to proxy. He is willing. So DRG making sure he's staying on top of that as he goes out across the map. Back at home, Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener here from DRG. Oh, the mech Terrans are showing up in the chat. I saw Colossal Gulp earlier. Now I see Jadoff. You're all animals. Ay, ay, ay. And yeah, for now, Ryung is going to be scouting with his SCV, going to be confirming the natural, of course, the hatch first, and going to be looking to delay that third hatchery as well for at least a couple of seconds. As DRG has to rotate his drone over towards the linear third location instead. And the dance will begin. The dance of the Lings and the Reaper. Oh. Ryung going to be threatening the mineral line. Doesn't kill anything, does force a couple of units out, as DRG does actually pull back in, and he really does want that triangular third base. Does get it. Is going to be a delayed third, but he gets it where he wants it, nonetheless. So Ryung confirms, he dips in, and heads towards the main base as well. Behind this, Ryung going for a fast third base, going for a third CC before starport build. Very economic. As we can see this time, it is going to be a starport, not a second factory. So we're not rushing into mech like we did previously. Ryung going for a very different opener. A deviation of a 3cc build, sure, of course, but is headed in a different direction. Reaper coming back in. Ryung being really diligent here with his scouting. Going to be confirming that no additional gases, no roach warren was thrown down, no fast lair, that everything is on the up and up, and it is going to be a Banshee opener here from Ryung. So pretty standard stuff. This is kind of the tried and true opener of TvZ. Gives you a lot of map control with the Hellions. It gives you harassment options with these Banshees. The Banshees also keep you safe against roaches. And again, it's very economic because you already have a third CC. So really solid play coming out from Ryung. And behind this, he should be going into bio play, but we'll see. You can still go into mech from this point. And again, Ryung, he is known for his mech. As the Hellions, they ignore the Queens. They already roast 2 drones. Not too bad. Pretty strong start for Ryung. Likewise, the Overlord goes into the main base. Gets eyes on the third CC, but not much else. As the Overlord is killed. DRG working towards his lair at a reasonable time. Right, a 4 minutes 45 lair timing. Oh, it's mech. I was like, why is there still no add-on on this Rax? What's going on, Papi? Where is it? Oh, it's never gonna be there. Really nice control here out of Ryung, spreading out his Hellions. Cleaning up every single Ling. Is gonna lose 1 Hellion in the retreats, but really efficient trades. Meanwhile, we have 2 armories. We're gonna see some more factories. We're gonna see mech again. A different way of getting into mech, to be fair. Different form of it. But, you know, mech nonetheless. Ay. I appreciate it though. This is a new style here that has risen in popularity ever since of course the patch that did change the Banshee. Did add some changes to how the Banshee works, and as a result, now more Banshee heavy compositions are seeing competitive play. Banshees, they do rock up across the map. Already 5 workers going down. 6 workers even. And we're not done. There's no Spore, by the way. Uh-oh. There is no Spore Crawler. 9 to 10 plus workers go down. Overseer is about to finish morphing in, but it's going to take so long here to really keep up with the Banshees. And we don't even have Banshee speed yet. Ay. 14 drones go down. The Banshees, they survive. At the same time, Hellions are going to be moving out across the map, moving towards the bases here of DRG. Armory is done. They can morph into Hellbats as well. Up. As the Banshees are being pinned in. The Queens are busy. The Queens are out of position, and Lings are not going to be the most ideal unit here against these Hellions. Surround is coming in. The Hellions are going to get pinned against the wall. Where is the... They don't transform into Hellbats. A decent trade for the Lings. As Ryung backs off and he's working towards Thors again. As we saw earlier, I'm pretty sure this is just to blindly counter Spire play if that were upon us. But DRG is going for Hydras instead. This was scouted by Ryung. He should be aware. Aliens are moving out. More Banshees are in production. No Cyclones. Ryung once again going for a more tank-heavy composition instead. Which I think is ideal. That scan does spot those Hydras, and Banshee with Battle Mech, with Hellions and Cyclones, can struggle against Lingbane Hydra. So going for tanks is going to be the best option for Ryung. Banshees once again zooming in between the bases, taking down 6 drones. Hellions push in. But the Queens are on the front lines. The Queens are able to hold on. They do push them back. Well, back at home, continued tanks, Thors. Raven as well. These Banshees just annihilating all these creep tumors. I was wondering if the Banshee was going to move out with the main army, but no, it's going to be kept back at home. And DRG is just building up this Lingbane Hydra force. The real kind of damage potential of this army comes into play when we get Vipers out. Vipers allow this army to collapse on these siege positions. And the Infestation Pit is now on the way for that Hive Tech. Meanwhile, good trades coming in from Ryung. Cleaning up a lot of the Lingbane. Banshee's moving in towards the south. Hellions trying to distract the main army as well. Oh, they dive in! Yeah, they force the Hydras all the way back. But they're still here for these Banshees. Ryung doesn't find a way in. As he gets a little bit adventurous here and he just ignores the Queens, he's going to get quite a lot done. Another 5 workers. Again, back at home with just building up even more tanks, even more Thors. Vikings coming into the mix. Interesting choice. But Vikings will help zone away those Vipers. Oh no! As the Hellions, they run into Banelings. And now there isn't much keeping a DRG back. He is maxed out. He's moving out across the map. Doesn't have Vipers. We'll see if Ryung is able to get in position. A massive anti-armor missile on the Hydras. The Lings go down. And Ryung holds on. That does create an opening for these Banshees. Oh, 2 Banshees will go down. Really good target firing out of DRG. The hero Spore. He's able to hold on without losing too much. But likewise, the map is being cut in half. Ryung once again getting into that mineral line, getting 5 more drones. 7 even. And how many Vikings do we have available? We have 2. We're about to have 4 Vikings here for Ryung. Again, that's going to be his answer to those Vipers. Obviously, Ghost would be ideal, but we're not quite there yet. As Ryung is now maxed out with a hefty army. He's already got 2-2 for his army. 3-3 on the horizon. And yeah, this is going to be terrifying. We do have 3 Vipers, but they need more time. They're still gathering energy. And Ryung, he's just leapfrogging his way forward through the center of the map, laying siege upon that center base as well. Banshees are being cleaned up. DRG looking to come in from behind. The base is going to fall. 15 drones go down. DRG, he wasn't able to pull back in time either. A lot of workers are going down. DRG, he's waiting for his Vipers. Without the Vipers, he won't be able to collapse on this army. Big anti-armor missile on the Hydras. The Vipers coming from the left-hand side. He's going for it. Big blinding clouds. Oh my god, half of the tanks do get covered in them, but is it going to be enough? I don't... it's going to be close. It's going to be close. A big portion of the tanks do go down, but there's still more where that came from. Hydras, they come in from behind. They get another tank. As Ryung is actually reinforcing with pure Thor. I'm not too sure how I feel about that. Lings get a full surround. The Hydras are melting, but the Lings are doing so much here to the tanks and the Thors. I don't think this is going to be the best unit composition for Ryung, as he's going to be losing a little bit too much. Up. Yeah, the Hydras, they're barely going to clean this up. Thors can be good against roaches, obviously against anything in the air, but against Hydras, we need tanks in the back line. Oh, the Hellions do clean them up. But there we go. Now we're going back into tank production, into Ghosts. I think the Thors were lined up because of the Vipers earlier, but yeah, not the most efficient fights out of Ryung. As he attempts to go for a Hellion run by, but is going to run into the wall of Hydras. Back at home, Ryung, now that he has a center base, he can take the 5th and the 6th as well. So his economy is still looking really strong. Ryung has remaxed. Now, does he have the ideal army, though? I do still think he has maybe too many Thors. Like, he's got a lot of Thors and Ghosts, which is great against Broodlords. Like, this is a perfect army against Broodlord Infestor. But that's not what we have. DRG is still on Lingbane Hydra. So this is where we need more tanks instead of Thors. It does feel like Ryung maybe teched up a little bit too quickly, or he changed his army composition a little bit too quickly, anticipating something else. So far, Vikings going ham. Good snipe on one of the Vipers. Lingbane is coming on in. Big blinding clouds. The Phalings crash into the tanks, crash into the Thors. There's still one tank in the back line. As DRG tries to dive on it. And he will clean up the Thor army. Ryung, his army supply plummets. And DRG takes a very efficient fight. I say very efficient. He has an economy to really afford that. As DRG remaxes. I'm afraid to check, but in that fight, yeah. Ryung lost over double the gas and the minerals as well. 7 Thors, 8 tanks, 8 Ghosts. For mainly Lings. And DRG, he's already getting ready for the second push, for the second wave. Do we have any Vipers? We have one Viper. Not ideal. It's possible that DRG, he may wait for another Viper. Oh, Ryung having some fancy moves with this drop. But it's possible that DRG is going to be waiting for the second Viper to gather up energy before he attacks. So he's going to be giving Ryung a lot of time. Oof. As 12 SCVs go down. Ryung and now refining his army, going tank ghost. And this is going to fare better. this is more ideal. But I do think that Ryung has just been a little bit too wasteful. Like getting to this point. We'll see. Another massive Ling run by. Getting 6 more SCVs. The Hydra army did run into the tanks. So DRG is going to have to respect that. He backs off. And we have a Spire on the way. So DRG, he's getting ready for Broodlord Infestor. I'm not saying that that's what he's going to work towards, but he's going to have the tech available. Should be working on a greater Spire and eventually upgrades. Now that Ryung doesn't have any Thors, now would be a good time to go into Broodlords. After a fight from DRG, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts creating Corruptors. Before that occurs, Ryung is now remaxed. Getting ready to push out. Likewise, DRG getting ready to push in. We could end up in a weird base trade as the base is going to fall, and here we go. DRG is pulling the trigger. There are 4 tanks in position, but here come the Vipers. Oh, big EMP, but the tanks are still covered by that blinding cloud. They're going to be going down. DRG, he's busting or looking to bust into the natural. Ryung comes back home. Wings do make their way in. Rough pathing there from DRG. The mules. Tend to think that was intentional. 19 SCVs go down to the natural. Ryung still has a pretty large army though. He's moving out. DRG remaxing with more Hydras, more Banelings. Yeah, and he's just avoiding the tanks. He still has 2 Vipers. Once again, it looks like he's just avoiding the main tank force. He's moving towards the towards the top side of the map. Only 1 tank in position. And DRG should be able to take down the planetary. He's going for it. Oh, there's so many mules! There were so many mules. The planetary goes down. The battle report, it doesn't show mules. That was like 10 mules, maybe? Jesus. As Ryung is being forced to counterattack, he barely has an economy. He's got 43 SCVs. Does have a bank, to be fair. Does have a super maxed army. Once again, DRG, he avoids the fight. He avoids the tanks. And he's going for a big counterattack instead. And it makes sense. I mentioned earlier, because there are so many tanks here, this ground-based army isn't going to work. He's going to have to go into Broodlords. Or catch him unsieged. That's the other option, of course. Or catch him bunched up as well. We have seen these Vipers work wonders. Again, if Ryung isn't able to split, 2 Blinding Clouds, they will cover all these tanks. 2 good Blinding Clouds is all we need. Do see DRG once again rotating around, looking for another way in. Again, not the best trade here from DRG. He's going to bleed out a lot of Ling Bane. Another Hatchery is being taken. This will draw the attention of Ryung. A couple of tanks were left behind. Here we go, DRG is pushing in. Tanks were laid to siege. A lot of these Hellbats are going to go down, but it's not going to be enough. GG gets called, and Ryung will take game number 2, tying up the series 1-1. Oof. GG. DRG, he had a good economy. As we saw, he had a really good economy, but he did not have a good army against what Ryung had. We saw he was avoiding the fight for so long, forced into it towards the end there, and he got annihilated. The tank volleys were insane. And DRG's army melted. Did not have the upgrades to transition into Broodlords. It's something that DRG should have been working on earlier, to be honest. Should have been working on that Broodlord Infestor transition a little bit earlier. He was stuck on Lingbane Hydra. And with that, we have an ace match. We have a game 3. As we have a series, we're getting into the ace match. It's going to be taking place on Babylon. Let's go. And again, that's all I wanted. I like how we have the lobby. DRG, he's like, go, go. His opponent was an AI. But here we go. Ryung has arrived. Beautiful. And we should be getting ready for that game 3. Now the question becomes, Ryung, he's gone mech every game. Gone mech game 1, game 2, different forms, right? Game 1, he faked out Magville accelerators and then went for more tank heavy style. Game 2, he started off with mass speed banshees, mass speed cloak banshees into Thors, into tanks. What are we going to see this time? Here we go. Vamos. I can see the chat catching up. And again, what I will say is that DRG's army composition was really good against the initial Thor composition of Ryung. But once Ryung started bleeding out the Thors and mixing in more tanks, that's when we needed to see something change for DRG. Alas, it didn't happen, and alas, we have an ace match as a result. And here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Babylon. We have the South Korean Terran player representing On-Side Gaming. It is Ryung, the Tuna Terran himself. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player. Looking to bring it back here, and now in the ace match, it is DRG. The one true Dong. Oh. Here we go. Alas, Babylon, a much smaller map, a shorter map, a map that could be honestly pretty well made here for something like some roach aggression if DRG wanted to be, again, more of the taking the role of the driver's seat and dictating the pace of the game. Could try to do so. Likewise, I wouldn't be surprised if Ryung goes for a more cyclone heavy composition on Babylon instead. Can make use of how small the map is, be in the face of DRG a lot faster. It's possible. It's possible. Or, you know what? He could do something crazy, and Ryung could play Bio. He's done it before, and it's not bad. Like, he doesn't have bad Bio play. He looks really damn strong with it. I want to believe, Bobby. I want to believe. Aye. To be fair, Ryung's mech, I guess, is more tested in a way. In WTL, I believe Ryung also beat Raynor with his mech. That did also occur. I think it was on Neo Humanity, which is a more mech-favored map, to be fair, especially the style that Ryung goes for. But like, he's taken down the best of the best Zergs in the world with his mech. Like, it's It's good stuff. I don't think I've seen Ryung's mech against Cyril, to be fair, but, you know, mate, if you can take down Raynor, you can take down almost anyone. But here we go. We do see Ryung. It does come across the drone here of DRG. Delays the third. Forces a gas geyser. Likewise, SCV over on the right-hand side. Going to be a bit of a nuisance as well. DRG will expand, but a delayed expansion and not the base he wanted to take. So already, things popping off here in the early game. Was a hatch gas pool opener from DRG. Meanwhile, back at home, Ryung going for a third CC opener. Very economic out of our Terran player. But as I say that, we have seen economic builds every game so far. We've seen 3CC variations every single game. As we're heading into that starport, we should be seeing a tech lab on this Rax, and then we'll see an add-on swap here for a Banshee opener. But we'll see. Maybe Ryung goes for something a little bit different instead. He could always keep the tech lab on the racks and go for a Viking first or a Liberator opener instead. Go for faster stim, go for bio. Again, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Ryung make some Marines, you know? Man with gun, it's a good unit. He makes one every game. He needs a friend. It's a lonely life being a single Marine in an army of just mechanical units. Smooch. Smooch, papi. Oh, let's go. Oh, no, no, oh, no. He made us. He was teasing us, papi. He was teasing us. He made a second Marine for a moment. Going for a Viking first. Interesting choice. Very interesting. Hellions are moving out across the map. It looks like Ryung is faking Banshees. Oh, no, never mind. Okay, he's making one. Actually making a Banshee. So the Viking first will hide this. If you're going for a 3CC Banshee, you don't want to make a Viking because it delays your Banshee count. It makes it even lower. And DRG is going for a Roach Warren. The last thing he expects is a Banshee coming out, and that's going to be ideal against a Roach push. And it's bio. Let's go. We have Stim. We have Marines on the way. It's not mech. Oh, Ryung. My hero. Again, showing us all that Ryung, he isn't a one-trick pony. He doesn't have to rely on nothing but mech to win games. This Viking will be shooing away that Overlord. Ling Scout comes in, but the Hellions do deny it. Now, DRG does have a safety Roach Warren, but he's droning. He's not working towards a big Roach timing. 2 E-Ray Chambers are thrown down for upgrades. Looks like DRG, that Roach Warren was just for safety and nothing more. Meanwhile, across the map, the Banshee does arrive, and it's going to get a lot of damage done. Again, the Spores were not ready for it. 3 drone kills. Pretty good stuff so far. Behind this, additional Marines are on the way. The Marines did just reveal themselves here to this Ling, and that is a tell. That should be a tell. To DRG, as he is going to go for 1-1, is still going for a Roach timing. Now, the +1 carapace tells us that he knows it's not mech. And he doesn't care. DRG is going to hit a powerful timing with 1-1. We'll see if Ryung is going to be ready for it. We were talking about it earlier, but Babylon specifically, because of how small it can be, especially when the rocks get knocked down, Roach pushes are pretty common and pretty deadly on this map. As I say that, though, DRG is working on an Infestation Pit and a Baleen Nest as well. So I assumed that he would be cutting workers at 69, around 69 or 70, and just making nothing but Roach Ravager and push out across the map. But he's showing us otherwise. He's taking up even further, getting ready for later stages of the game. He's getting a 4th base. He's droning as well, droning quite heavily. So DRG, he isn't in any rush. He's just really setting himself up back at home. Raxes are kicking in. 1-1 finishes up. Armory about to finish up as well to get into 2-2. And the drop play from Ryung has commenced. Again, it's been a relatively passive start to the game. A big reason for that was just because of the opener from Ryung. He's been poking with his Hellions, but just now he can be active with his Marines. Oh, the Roach Army does reveal itself here to Ryung. At the same time, we have that double drop sneaking into the main base. DRG not in position. Yeah, the Roach Ravager now going to be responding, but the Marines, they do get into the main. Can they get anything done, though? They're going to threaten the spawning pool, but they shouldn't get the kill. A couple of Marines will go down. A nice distraction, but again, didn't really get too many worker kills or too much value. Meanwhile, more tumors are being cleaned up. The hive has completed for DRG. Vipers are on the way. Adrenal glands. +1 melee. So he's refining his army and going for a Lingbane Roach Ravager composition. And eventually he's going to phase out the Roaches and Ravagers completely. And I've just been really impressed that Ryung has kept these Hellions alive for so long. I may have to eat those words, and we may see DRG collapse on them, but 9 minutes into the game, and they're still, clearing up creep. Impressive. Behind this, Ryung is going to be 8-raxing. He has 8 raxes here, basically max production on 3 bases. There is no 4th CC, so Ryung is very committed with this attack. Because there's no 4th base, it means that this push, it's going to kill his opponent. The longer this goes on, and if Ryung trades poorly, he won't really be able to remax, rebuild, and keep the game going. If he trades well enough, he could lift up his main. He could try to lift his main and take that as his 4th. But for the most part, he needs to get damage done. Here we go. A massive push being sent out across the map. 2-2 about to kick in. But the Vipers are done. The surround is getting ready. Here we go. The Vipers are coming from behind. Blinding Clouds are thrown down. Big surround here on the Bioforces. And just like that, Ryung, he lost half his army. He still has the other half. He now throws down a 4 CC, but this is a late 4th. Ay. He needs more. DRG once again getting ready for what looks to be another surround. Coming in from multiple angles. Expanding, taking another hatchery, going for a counterattack even. Won't find too much damage here, but is now in the back of Ryung's mind. As DRG is able to remax. Actually committing quite a lot here to this attack. He's not going to be dealing with the main army here. Yeah, he's going for the 3rd. He forces Ryung to pull back. As Ryung he can't afford to lose too many workers. Here we go. DRG coming in from behind once again with the Vipers. Doesn't commit yet. Picks up a couple of units. Slow and steady. A methodical approach here from a DRG. As this time he commits to the fight. Takes down the tanks. And that's going to be all she wrote. Only a handful of Marines and Marauders remaining here. And it's not going to be enough to deal with the army of DRG. He shuts this down. Again, it was a committed push by Ryung. He killed a base, 1 hatchery, and he traded with the army, and that is it. He still hasn't taken his fourth. Meanwhile, DRG is on 5 bases. He doesn't have the best economy, to be fair. DRG is not at 80 workers yet, but he's working on it. He's got 12 more workers in production. Only 1 tank. DRG did keep his Vipers alive, so if he wanted to, he could try to break this position, but he doesn't need to. He does have the map control. As Ryung is setting up a split push. He's going to try to pull apart the attention here of DRG. That tree is on the way, and here we go towards the north. Ryung, he's going for the mineral line. Towards the south, he's going for the base. That's a kill, not a cancel. And that is barely not a kill here on this hatchery. Ryung, he goes for the Doom Drop into the main base. He's looking for more damage, but he doesn't find it. It was a nice move. He almost got 2 bases with it. But he's still looking for more. Doom Drop getting ready to go into the main. Likewise, Ryung working on his 5th. His 4th is getting up and running, and he's working towards Ghost. Ryung is still in this, as he does snipe that hatchery. Not too bad. Hatchery goes down. DRG not in the best position either, especially when it comes to his upgrades. Ryung, he has 3-3. DRG on 1-2. Ay. Tanks are in position. Liberators as well. We have soon-to-be planetaries. Ryung is turtling up very hard. He's trying to. Oh no! Power bombs are going to make things a little bit awkward. Oh, a full medevac goes down. The second medevac as well. Big losses. These CCs, they're not going to finish. One of them will, but a planetary is going to go down to the Bailings. DRG just slowing Ryung down, but you know what? Did he lose too much? It's triggering a counterattack. Ryung has a massive army. Up. Oh god. He had a massive army. Takes some blasts to the face, but he's not slowing down. He's not stopping. He's looking to deny some of these bases. Ryung still has momentum. Both hatcheries are going to be cancelled. Ryung not quite pushing in though, and this is going to give an opportunity here for DRG to go for a big lane counterattack. Oh god, he's getting on top of the tanks. No! He gets on top of them. 1, 2 tanks going to go down. He can even get a 3rd, maybe even a 4th. The ghosts are under threat as well. Oh my god. 16 SCVs, 2 ghosts. What was that? 3, 4 tanks? It's just a little bit too much. DRG now with Ultras is pushing in. Big snipes on the Ultras, but there's still more where that came from. As we do see, DRG is barely being cleaned up. Oh my god. That was so close towards the end. The last Ultra went down, and DRG runs out of steam. Ryung, he takes it. He was down to 44 workers. But he does take it in the end. I thought he was going to get cleaned up, but no, he barely had enough. And the Tuna Terran, he does it. GG. Oh my god. I'm looking at the production tab. He still had a couple more Ultras in production. He had Lings on the way as well, but I guess it just was not enough. Ryung barely snowballing out of control. Oh god. And he does take the series in the end. We're going to be heading over to the North American region for our next one, for our next series, our next ZVT between Lambo and Cure. We'll see you then. See you then. I'm still processing what just happened. GG, buddy. GG.